are worthless. You might as well just take them down.
Yeah.
Maybe here we go. Men and women can't work out together anymore.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Let's
That's what
just
you want.
let's just
That's what you want,
separate.
right? That's what
Right.
you want, right?
Let's just separate to where women. How about this? Let's do women only gyms and men only gyms.
There you go.
But
Go to
you know what? That wouldn't work either, because that would then lead to the conversations about the patriarchy and all these type of things.
No,
And
it's
so
only the patriarchy if we do it. Now, if a woman gets up there and she self-segregates, then it's fine. Just like safe spaces in schools for minorities. It's not segregation if they do it. As long as it's not coming from a white guy, then it's fine. We're
that's
stupid
true.
as we're stupid as human beings.
Teens these days are different. I agree.
Let's
Yeah,
just
we're but here, you know what we are. I'm gonna tell you what we are.
we're
We
not doing
are
well.
selfish. That's
Yeah.
what we are. It's all about me. What is convenient for me? What makes me feel comfortable? What makes me feel okay? What makes me feel important? What makes me feel accepted? It's all about me. Me, 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 me. The whole world needs to revolve around me. It's like the reality is that dude that you think is looking at you, he's waiting on you to get off that machine. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to get some sets in, and he keeps looking, and you doing the same 3 exercises for 2 hours in the same space. And it's like, listen, I need you to move. Like, can I just get that? Let me just get you in my corner there.
Yeah,
And a
man,
lot of times it's
I
done.
need you to move on.
Yeah, yeah. And here's the thing: a lot of times, believe it or not, the guys are trying to be respectful, so they're staying out of the area, but they're looking to see if you're still there, waiting. Like, ladies, listen to this: waiting for you to move. Like, because I don't want to then, because if I come start working out over in your area, now there's the position where you might feel like, oh, you're trying to get around me and you're uncomfortable because now I'm in your space. So I'm going to just wait and I'm chilling. But now it's like, okay, you've been in that squat rack for you done 6 squats in 4 hours. Like, what's the problem? He used to always trip me out, man. Like, I go in the gym, and that's why I like working out like early in the mornings, like 6 a.m. Because it's not a lot of people in there. It's
Yeah.
quiet. I don't have to. We don't have to deal with all that kind of stuff, because it's like, listen, like I just want to get my workout. And then you got to figure, if you're one of the guys that maybe take a pre-workout or something, your body is going. So you're like,
I'm ready
listen,
to go. Yeah.
I'm ready to go. And I'm trying to get to this exercise, and you sitting over here doing your selfies and doing all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, if you are a gym influencer, understand this. There are regular people out here who just want to work out. And we don't want to get caught up in your video. We don't want to, bother you. We just want to work out. And so, yeah, it's a fine line, but
I think it's honestly, I think it's just people overvaluing themselves. I was talking to this girl in North Carolina. She was a fitness model or a bodybuilder, and she, we went to the gym together when I went up to visit her, and she. In the gym, like, she was not rude to anybody. She knew, like, she posed. She knew eyes were on her because, like, that's what she does.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she took it this way or that way. And I saw her talk to all these people, and like, she's just having a word with all these people. Just engaging with them and stuff like that, because she's very about the fitness, industry, about everything fitness.
Right.
So the best way to do that is just talk to people in the
Right.
gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where, like, instead of like video recording somebody that's messing up, like, why don't you go over there, like, if you know how to do it, like, go show them how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And if they, if they're rude about it, then fuck them, let them hurt themselves. Like,
yeah, that's on them. I say this, I say, what, we should go for equality, all right? And what I say is, we go in the gym, fellas, let's just go in there and wear some, Tarzan, banana hammocks or something like this.
Banana hammocks up, man.
Yeah, let's just get let's go get some Speedos.
Banana hammocks up,
like I said, we have to be fair about it. It's like, all right. Now, what gets me, though, and I don't know if you do this, the cats that come in, like, real big dudes, and they'll have, like, a little string shirt. It's like, it's not really a shirt. It's like a strip.
Just take your shirt off, bro.
Because you got this, oh, hey, sir, you need to wear a shirt. Oh, I'm wearing a shirt. It's like this little strip. You be like, bro, like, that's not a shirt, bro. I can see all your nipples. Like, what's happening? Like, put that on.
It looks like you ripped my shirt in half and put half of it on, bro. That's what it looks like.
Right. I always thought that was funny. And like that counts. And it's funny because you go to the gym and they'll tell you need to have a shirt on and they'll put that on and all of a sudden it's okay. And you're like, wait, there's literally no difference here. You know, I always thought
That's
that was funny. I
that's
say
all.
at the end of the day, man, look, let's just work out, mind our
Yeah.
business, and move on. How about that?
No,
Let's just do that.
it's social conditioning is what it is, and what we're doing now. And we talked about this. Every action is there's an equal reaction, right? So
Right.
every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So you've had this string of women calling out men in the gym, looking at them, right? So now there's these videos surfacing of women getting in trouble during their lifts, like they need a spot, and dudes are like, sucks.
Too
That's
bad.
that's a real shitty
Right.
situation you're in. I don't want to get it. I don't want to be put on blast if I come over there and I help you out. So now,
Right.
so equal and opposite reaction. Same
Right.
thing I used to talk about with the last 10 years of people just generally hating on men. And now you have a new generation of men that are like, we don't have time for it. You want to be a strong, independent woman? Guess what? Go be strong and independent.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go find
Yeah.
somebody
I
else.
think
You have a big.
it's the adverse effect. Yeah. It's like
Well,
you're. What? Go
it's a
ahead. Go ahead.
very it's a very American, a very United States mentality, and you've seen this bigger this push of a lot of American men going to find wives and partners in other countries. They call them passport bros. um, but they go and they'll go to like the Philippines or Europe or Africa or Asia, and they'll go find or South America, and they go find a wife, because that's what
Yeah.
they want. They want a partner. They want a wife. They don't want someone. I don't need to be in competition with the person that I'm with, and I also don't need that person that I'm with to tell me that they don't need me all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's not healthy. So if you want a traditional relationship, it's getting to the point where you're generally having to look outside of the United States, and
Right.
it's social conditioning. We have all these strong, independent women basically bashing men all over the internet and social media, and so men are like, okay, we can be toxic too. So it's
Right.
it's it's like this never-ending cycle of like who's going to outdo the
Right.
other in
Well,
in
you
in,
get.
in
Well,
messing
you
over
get.
the opposite sex.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you get the response. I mean, think about it. The equal and opposite responses. Now you have this big push of men saying, "Okay, we just as valuable." Now what? When you have like your Andrew Tates and you have there's a couple other guys who come out and say, "Okay, we're going to embrace masculinity to the fullest in every aspect that you say." And yes, guess what? That's how I am. I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to be sweet to you. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to treat you like an equal. All right, cool.
Yeah.
This is what you want.
What
You know what I
what do you
mean?
bring?
I'm here.
What do you bring
Okay.
to the table? What do you bring
Yeah.
to the
What do
table?
you bring to the table? What you got to offer? I'm gonna treat you. I'm not gonna treat you with the same value or the same nurturing or whatever the case is.
Hmm.
Like men. Like I always look at it like men. Um, there is mutual submission in real relationships, right?
Yeah,
There is a mutual
absolutely.
submission. You know what I'm saying? Women submit to the man as the lead or the head of the household, but the man submits to the woman in the nurturing and the love and compassion aspect of it. He understands that I can't be hard with you like I would, my homies or something like that.
Hmm.
I'm willing to kind of put my head down and kind of lean down and what's going on? Let's talk. You know what I mean? Let's be real with each other. I will care for you. I will be soft with you. And in a lot of cases, man, I think that there is we've lost sight of. I think the plans of trying to push for what they say equality has backfired.
Absolutely.
And now it's a backfire of now it's like, okay, you know what? You want to call us out for being so horrible? Fine. Like I always say people all the time, the easiest way to make a racist is keep calling them racist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
somebody who
One
was
hundred
not
percent.
somebody who was not racist before, or was not misogynistic before, or was not misandry before. Yeah, I think it's saying misandry is the female version of misogyny or whatever. But I think it's like misandry or it's something like that. But
Mm.
the people who are not those things, if you keep calling them those things or accuse people who are not cheaters, you keep accusing them of cheating. Guess what? You're gonna start putting
Might as
that
well
in
cheat.
their head.
Might as well
I
cheat.
might have
I'm already
because
guilty
yeah,
until proven innocent.
absolutely. Absolutely. And people have to understand, stop accusing people. You can address an issue without accusing people of doing something. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Or
I think
trying to trap people into
I
doing
think we
something.
could
You know,
make the argument that we started going downhill when the traditional household came under fire. The man
correct,
and woman with children.
correct.
And people will be like, oh, you just want a wife that's a slave. No, the thing is like everything that we have now, like women in the workforce, full equality, you can still have that and still have a household. The
Right.
problem is the way they approached it. When they wanted women in the workforce, they basically launched a war on women, being submissive and being in a relationship. When there's no, I want to be in a two income household. I'm not dating. Believe me, I ain't dating nobody who ain't got a job. All right, I'm 35 years old. Let me tell you something. If you ain't got a job, don't even hit me up. Don't even hit me up. Don't. I'm not worried about it. You got nothing. You have already come to the table with zero. All right, and your
Right.
body and your looks don't do shit for me. Okay, because guess what? 51% of the earth is women. I'll have another one come by. All
Right.
right, somebody
Options
with a
out
damn
there.
job.
Right.
So when they started this war on the traditional household of the man, the woman, and children, that it didn't leave the instead of just like almost integrating it in. Like, okay, so now women can go to the workforce. Okay, so now how do we as a husband and a wife that my wife is now going to go take a part-time job or a full-time job, integrate into this family unit? No, they just waged a war on women getting married in general. Women's suffrage for is all the positivity that it brought. It actually brought a lot of negativity just in the way that it was institutionalized. Now you can blame a lot of that on men too, because men didn't want to change. Men didn't want women in the workforce and so on and so forth.
Right.
And
Right.
that's just old. You what you have is you have these new radical ideas being instituted very rapidly without allowing change to happen.
Correct.
And when things like that happen, then obviously the people who are used to things being a certain way are going to rage back against this new change. And you can apply that to anything that's happening. If you look in the South post Civil War, all the slaves are freed. What's the first thing a lot of people did? They fucking went south. They moved south. They called what the whites they called carpetbaggers. You had a lot of the slaves return home. They wanted to own land and their own. Was that
Right.
necessarily the best way to
Right.
integrate this new system
Right.
that they just fought a war over? They just lost a war over. Was that the best way to do it? Was that the safest way to
Right.
integrate it into the future? I don't know. I can only look at it 200 and so many years later and be like, well,
Right.
we could have done this differently.
Right.
Um,
What?
but like I said, I think that logic is sound. If you look all throughout history, where you have had a radical change, there's obviously going to be friction, and the way you
Yeah.
introduce that change is going to give you a better rate of success in the long term. In the long
I,
term, do I think women's rights are getting better? No, I think they're getting worse. I think we're I
I agree.
think we're starting to edge backwards as we have all these radical changes, and everything that they spent
Mhm.
100 years trying to get, they're starting to lose ground.
Yeah.
Mostly due to themselves, but all obviously also due to men as well.
You can
It's
you can
it's
push
it's
too hard. I mean,
mhm.
you can push too hard to where people draw back. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
if you're guiding me little by little, cool. But if you push too hard, then I'm gonna just pull back. It's like a relationship. If you, like they say, I think this relationship is moving too fast, and then if people pull back, it's the same concept. It reminds me of integration. You mentioned integration and stuff. We were talking about
mhm.
Civil War. It reminds me of integration, like going in the '60s, right? Like integration to me, great idea, poorly executed to me.
Are you so you talking about like integration like in the
Black
50s
and
and
white.
60s? You talking about
Yeah,
like the 50s and okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. Like when you get into integration, blacks and whites, and they were saying that, there's no taking down the walls, or there's no black this and white that, no more white restrooms, no more black restrooms, black kids can go to white schools and so on. When they did integration, to me, I think that integration personally was obviously a great idea, but it was poorly executed. I
Yeah,
think that what happened
I can
was
see
is
that.
that I think integration was put out there, but then it was forced. I think it said, okay, now we are going to put this black child in this white school. We're gonna force you to integrate. And the reality is that people don't work that way.
Yeah,
You can't force change. That's the reality. You cannot force change. You know what I mean? Because when you do that, that causes what? War. That causes fighting. That
yeah.
causes fear. That causes unease. That causes confusion. That causes chaos. What they should have done, personally, this is my thoughts, right?
Okay.
What should have been done is, I'm good with you saying, all right, there's no more segregation. Remove the wall, right? And then let the people integrate.
Okay. Yeah,
Let it
I don't think I've ever heard. I don't
happen.
think I've ever heard anybody say it like that. Honestly,
Because I'm telling
um,
you, because, bro, Hey, I've been thinking about this, right? And like I said, people may disagree. People may want to, cancel me and have a
Yeah,
conversation about it. But I've always felt like, okay, anytime you want change to happen, if you force the change, what happens is that once again, you're going to get a lot of pushback. You're going to get a lot of friction, and you're going to get a lot of people who are going to, even if they want it, they're going to step back because there's just too much chaos surrounding it. You're making me uncomfortable. You're making me move too fast for my own good. It's the same thing as, remember, we was on the rifle range teaching cats how to shoot. And if you try to make them just look, get it together, fix yourself, shoot, they're gonna be shooting all over the target.
yeah,
All right, come on, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? What did you have to do with some people who were maybe afraid of the recoil and all that kind of stuff? You had to actually like calm them down and walk them through, slow, steady squeeze. Here it comes, bang, and then eventually, once they got past that initial fear, then they began to shoot better, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think, well, some folks they just couldn't shoot, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah,
yeah.
hey, we had some crazy ones, boy. But anyway,
Man,
the point is that I think that what should be done in these situations, whether it be whatever ism that you're dealing with, whatever the ism might be. Hold on one second.
can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You there? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, we got technical difficulties. Right, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
first your voice cut
yeah,
out.
I got a
First your
phone
voice cut
call.
out.
I got a phone call,
Okay.
and it like messed everything up. But anyway, what I was saying though was that this was I think in any one of these situations, whether it be racism, whether it be segregation, whether it be feminism, any of these systems that are broken, right? Here's my thing. I think remove all of the walls. Remove the walls that hinder people from combining or going upward or whatever case. You remove those walls, and then when it comes to these social issues, and then let it happen naturally. Okay? Because what's going to happen is that eventually, here's how it works. If I take away everything that separates you, at some point, somebody is going to naturally meet in the middle and cross that line.
Yeah.
And then when one person does it, then you'll see another person do it. Then you'll see another person do it. And then you'll see another person do it. And it'll happen naturally. But the moment that you say, you have to go over here, you have to do this, now you're in a tough spot because you're going to force people to do things they're not comfortable with. They're not going to be open. They're not going to be real. Some of them are going to fight it because we destroy what we don't understand. Like all of these things are real factors that we don't take in consideration when we try to take
Well, you cut out.
policy and force change.
There you are. No. First of all, like I said, I don't think I've ever heard anybody really talk about it, especially from the integration aspect like that. As a good initiative, poorly executed plan. Um, but yeah, forcing change on people who are used to things a certain way, it's very it's counterproductive because you're not going to get the reaction that you want. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, honestly, that's what we're seeing in the United States right now. Is you're seeing a bunch of radical ideas that have been forced on people rapid fire in the last few years or so, and people are pushing back, especially people who don't understand it.
Right, right,
There's not people don't understand a lot of the things that you're telling them, and it can be as little as like, oh, well, now people are gender fluid. Well, let me tell you something. Somebody who's 85 is like the what is that? What do you mean gender
right,
fluid?
right.
Sitting down and explaining to somebody that like, oh, well, me as a man, sometimes I feel like a woman. Bro, that's alien to me. I don't even understand what you're talking
Yeah,
about. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
like you're gonna have to explain yourself to me
Like help me
in order to
understand
get me to
this,
understand.
right,
Because if you just walk into somewhere with a bunch of dudes that think like me, you're like, today I'm a woman. What? No, you're not. You're not a woman. Well, yes, I am. And then now we're fighting because you are forcing a way of something that is intangible to me on me.
right, right,
Apply it to religion. When religions run into each other and you run into a bunch of people like obviously that I'm not a Christian. I have a lot of Christian friends. So like when they talk about it and they're like just how are you not a Christian? I was like, well, I could tell you the story of why I'm not. I have reasons, but my biggest reason is just my own belief system. That's how I feel. There's no animosity between me and as far as on
Right.
my end, there's no animosity towards Christianity or Islam or Judaism or any religion. It's just I don't I don't believe the way other people believe, and people are offended that I just don't believe what they believe. I think I lost you again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think I agree with you, bro.
Yep.
Your internet went out again,
Yep.
man.
There it is.
But basically, you,
Oh,
yeah, your internet went out
it's coming
again.
back.
But
There you are.
there you go.
My bad.
Now you're back. But yeah, I was just saying, I feel you. I think that, people being offended because you don't believe what they believe, I think is one of the big problems. It's like, how you gonna get mad at me for not agreeing with you? Like, for not believing what you believe? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's not, and here's the thing, you made a good point. People fear what they don't understand.
Yeah.
If I don't understand, if I simply just don't understand what you're talking about, I can't just go along with it because you say I should. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I can't agree with that if I don't understand what you're doing. And here's the thing. When we talk about these systems that have been created to hold different people down, do you know the easiest way or the most guaranteed way to build more of those systems is force radical change on people who don't want to? You know what I'm saying? Because then what are they going to do? When you force them to do something or change what they do, what do you think their response is going to be? They're going to find new ways to keep things the way they want it to be. They're going to create new systems within your system because I'm going to actively try to find a way to maintain what I think to be true in my ways of leadership or whatever the case is. Like if you tell me I have to do this, okay, well, okay, I'll do what you're saying, but don't get it twisted. I'm going to be trying to
Man,
actively
this
find a way to make this work in my benefit because it's not a natural change. It's not an organic change. It's not a natural shift, you know. And so I think that becomes the problem. I think we're
yeah.
so focused on, here's the thing, and we're so focused on making all this change, and we can't even do what's normal right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't even get ourselves together. Our priorities are so jacked up just on a regular foundational place. And now we're talking about doing all this radical change. Boy, what? It's like you put the cart before the horse, my hat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Putting the cart before the horse. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, man.
No, yeah, 100%, man. It's just, it's forced change is always going to be tough change. Doesn't mean it won't change. It doesn't mean it won't work out eventually, but you're going to have a much tougher road to get to that
Right,
change.
right,
Much, much
right.
tougher road.
Right. I
Um,
want it now. It's like that's just
yeah.
not. It just the reality is you can't erase hundreds of years or thousands of years of human behavior. First of all, you just can't erase that overnight because you sign a petition or a policy. You know what I mean? You can't you can't you can't just suddenly you can't dramatically flip society upside down just because you feel like it. You know what I mean? Like that's just not how it works. You figure any real long lasting change has happened over a period of 15, 20 years, 30 years,
Oh, yeah.
40 years. You know what I mean? It was people, think about it, even in the Industrial Revolution, man, there were skeptics all over the place. And it took time for people to really get on board with it. Like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, there were so many different aspects of society that take we patience, man. And I know we don't want patience because while we're waiting, stuff is going wrong. Stuff is going to be going wrong regardless. But if you want change that's going to last, guess what? Nothing worth having last comes easy or quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's a challenging road, all of that. But be patient, do it right, and it'll last. But if you rush through it and mess it up, it's going to be broken again before you can even get a chance to use it. That's reality.
Yeah.
And
No,
welcome
100%,
to,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for coming to our TED Talk. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna have to call it. I'm gonna have to call it for you
Yeah,
today, man. I'm getting
man.
sleepy over here.
Yeah, no,
I got early one
it's
in the
good. I
morning.
got to take that call anyway. Yeah, I got take that call anyway. So, all right, bro, man, always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I may try a different hat next time. You know what I mean? And ladies and gentlemen,
Appreciate
y'all
it.
can check out the episode as always on the YouTube at the Real Talking Points. Go check us out. We are making this thing happen. If you got some topics, if you got some conversations you want to have, please drop them in the chat, drop them in the comments, send us a DM, whatever the case is. It's your man, Reach the Poet, Zero Foxtrot. We out.
Peace.